All right. Hello, everybody. We are officially live again on a Saturday morning. Well, Saturday morning for me, anyways. I know it is for my guest as well. Philip, thank you for joining me today. So, today I am in Montana. I'm sitting outside. I am in Kalispell, Montana. Philip, do you know where that's at?
No, I know Montana. I don't know Kalispell.
Yeah. So, basically, I am sitting at the border of Canada. No, so it's the gateway to Glacier National Park. So,
I do see a tiny bit of foliage over your shoulder.
yeah, just a little bit back there. You see
Oh,
that?
now I see
Yep.
mountain range. Okay,
Yep.
all right. Doesn't
Mountain.
show
There's a
there's several
river.
treetops.
Yeah, I there was an eagle literally just flew right
Oh,
past me
cool.
a minute ago. So a bunch of geese are by the river and they're making a lot of noise. And I was like, why are they making so much noise? They're just happy it's a morning, and all of a sudden this eagle comes flying up from the river. So they were yelling at him basically.
After a hard week, they're ready to party for the weekend.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we're up here in Montana, enjoying it. I'm in Kalispell right now. We were in Glacier National Park yesterday, riding around. So the park is halfway open because of the snow. So believe it or not, there's still a
So
ton of
snow.
snow up here. Yeah. So you're able to, what they do is they block off the road. So you're able to drive in a little ways and then they have the road blocked off, but it's open to hikers and bikers. So we had the great idea of renting some bikes. Uh, so we went and rented some bikes and rode about 12 miles into the park, and it was beautiful. Ran into five grizzlies. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's a mom with three cubs, and then a big grizzly just by himself. So so I have my mountain man beard growing today. I'm trying to blend in. I just want to make sure that I blend into
Safety
the
always.
environment. Yeah, we're shooting a production up here in Montana, so we're enjoying. But it's beautiful right now. It's like 70 degrees, and like 2 days ago it was 40 degrees. So,
No.
uh, so yeah. So today's a beautiful day. I'm excited. But where are you joining me from today?
So I'm in Studio City, California. For those who aren't familiar, Studio City, we're like literally walking distance from like Universal Studios.
Nice. And how often do you go over to Universal Studios?
Of about 4 or 5 hours, meeting some friends over there. We're going to go see Thunderbolts.
Oh,
It's
nice.
at the park. There's an area called City Walk, out, which is connected to the park. But you can just park, and then just walk around City Walk. There's restaurants, there's movie theaters, there's stores to go in and out of. But it's
Nice.
convenient because I'm like 5 minutes from there, so that's like my
Nice.
movie theater choice.
Movie theater, restaurants, a
Yeah,
lot of good spots over there. It's almost like at Disney World where they have the
yeah, like
Disney
downtown
area.
Disney. Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
similar. Yeah.
But for Universal. Well, very cool. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone who's joined us? Let them know who you are and what you do and where you work.
All right. So my name is Philip Marcus. I'm the director of the Young People's Department at Clear Talent Group. We're a full service talent agency. As I said, Studio City. So we're based in Los Angeles. We do have an office in New York City as well. We call our department Young People because we go from ages 3 to early 20s, and it's not a date of birth issue. We don't care. Once you're over 18, it's just like from casting's point of view. It's what age range are you playing? So with that said, I do have some clients that are literally 30 plus years old, but they can't walk into a bar without being checked up and down 10 times. They don't look 21. They look younger. I've had people turn 18, 19, 20 that look 30 years old. I'm like, okay, people looking at you as an older group, time to go to the older departments. So there's adult departments for everything. If there's acting involved and you can think of it, someone's covering it. But in my department, the bulk of it's really TV shows, movies, commercials, and then voiceover. Voiceover, everything from foreign dubbing, cartoons, animated feature films, podcasts, anything which is acting with your voice. But pretty much the bulk of acting there is, like I said, TV, film, commercial, voiceover. And as I said, ages 3 to early 20s.
Nice. Very cool. And how long have you been working in that department?
So I literally last Sunday, was it last Sunday? I think it was last Sunday. April 20th was my 15-year anniversary at Clear Talent Group.
Wow.
And before that, I had 13 years at a former agency called KSA that's no longer around anymore. So this coming September will be 28 years.
28 years. That's amazing.
I'm not joking. I've literally gone to clients that I've known when they were 8, 9, 10. I've been to their weddings.
Wow. That's
I'm
awesome.
representing. I have a small group of kids that I used to rep their parents, mom or dad, when they were like teenagers, but now they're in their 30s, 40s, and we're repping their kids, like next generation. It's wild.
And that, wow, that's awesome. So they obviously moved into a different department. You don't work with them anymore, but now their kids are
Right.
coming up.
Some
And,
of them are still actors in their 30s and 40s with adult departments. Some of them got out of acting, but they're still in the entertainment business. Some of them have gone on to become writers, directors, producers. Some people got completely out of the entertainment industry and they're like, nope, going to law school, want to become a lawyer, a doctor, a school teacher, whatever it may be. But both sides of it.
that's how this business really is. It's a lot of people start in one area and they move to other areas, right? I see that a lot happen a lot. They get involved in, a project as an actor, and then they decide they want to be behind the camera, become a director instead,
Mhm.
or a producer or something like that, or a writer.
They
Now,
still want to be in the industry, just different sides of the camera.
right. So 15-year anniversary. Well, happy anniversary. Did they throw a big party?
No, but oh wait, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. I don't
Nice.
know why I feel like I'm an alcoholic. I'm like, oh, I got my chip. It's a little weird. You give like 10, 15, 20-year coins, but like, okay, so we got little gold coin 15 years.
Nice. Very
What about
cool.
you?
I've known you for a long time, and I say you're one of the hardest working agents in the business.
Oh, thank you. I said, yeah, first of all, you've heard that phrase, if you love what you do, it's not really a job, and it sounds cliche. And there's some people that do have jobs where it's like a 9 to 5, punch in, get a paycheck, do the bare minimum, just get by. We've all had those kind of jobs, a waiter, waitress, bartender, hostess at a restaurant. We get all that. And then there are people sometimes that just are fortunate if they have a career that they truly love what they do. And like I said, it does sound cheesy. I know it does. It sounds like a cliche, but there's a reason why it's a cliche. I love what I do. I still, 28 years, you could say, oh, you must be jaded, you must be tired, you must be burnt out. I'm like, no, especially because I work with kids and teens and like college students, there's always the next group. They're always growing. So, today I signed a 4-year-old, and a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe they're in a TV series, maybe they're in a very successful movie. I'm like, oh my God, what? I remember when nobody even knew who you were, and you were this little kid, and now look at you where you've gone. So I still get excited when a brand new client books that first job. It could be a tiny little nothing job that's just part of your experience as an actor. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's a good job. It's a credit. It's a commercial. It's a music video, but it's that first job, and obviously for parents and for their kids, that's a huge accomplishment for any actor. If you're 25, 30 years old, your very first job stays with you forever. You still remember that. So I still get excited about that. I still love scouting and finding new talent and discovering people out there, and that hasn't changed at all.
Right. That's awesome. So 4 years old, you signed him today. How fun is that?
I
Having
mean,
somebody that
I'm literally, we signed a 4-year-old in early February, so it wasn't that long ago. And last week she booked her first job. She booked an OnStar commercial,
oh,
and
cool.
mom sent a picture of her from the set because she got to play with some toys. So for her, she's 4. Oh, I got to play
Yeah.
with toys. Best day ever. Well, like, you booked an OnStar commercial, and commercials and residuals from a SAG commercial can surprise. You work one day, you could wind up making a lot of money down the road if that commercial just runs and runs and runs. But she only got here in February, so it wasn't like she's been here for a long time, and she's 4.
Right.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
so
So young adults, is that basically how when do you determine when somebody is no longer available to be?
both the actor and we joke around it. I mean, it's a joke, but it's also honest. If guys and girls, if people look at you and say, "Oh, I can see you in a McDonald's commercial wearing the little hat saying, 'Would you like fries with that?'" If people look at you and go, "You look like the bank president that's trying to sell me a mortgage." Uh-oh. If you look like the sorority girl getting ready for the big homecoming mixer with the frat house, sorority girl, college. If people look at you like, yeah, you look like a young mom pushing a stroller with your 2-year-old, time for the adults apartment. It's a
Right.
grayish area, and there are times where we'll see it, and we've had actors that literally been with us 10, 15 years. We've literally watched them grow up, quinceaneras, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s, high school graduations. And we'll reach out and say, look, we've had an amazing relationship. We've known you for years. We're not cutting strings. We're not kicking you to the curb saying, we're done with it. That's it. But we're saying, look, we're starting to notice age-wise, you're starting to get out of the categories that we're really submitting on, that casting knows us for. Let's take your material, share it with our adult departments. We don't know what their roster is like day to day. They may have a conflict that may not work out. They may love you and maybe you don't like them, you don't fit, but let's try to see if we can keep it in house and keep you with them. In the meanwhile, if that doesn't work out, start looking for the adult departments, other agencies. Feel free, use me as a reference. I have nothing but great things to say about you. Hello, we've been working together 13 years, 15 years. I mean, most of your life. Obviously, we like you. But we're like, look, people think you're older. You're not playing that 18 to 22 college anymore. You're certainly not playing younger, but everyone thinks that you're a professional, a suit and tie, a lawyer, an FBI agent. There's lots of roles for that, obviously, but it's definitely time for the adult departments. So we'll do that transition where we're not just cutting you, and kicking you to the curb going, you're on your own. We'll figure it out. Sometimes the
Right.
actor will come to us and will say, like, we're like, we know it, but we don't want to admit it. Like, we love working with you, but we know you're at that glass ceiling and you're ready to break through it because age wise. And sometimes the actor will come and say, I think it's time. I mean, it's hard for little bird to fly out of the nest, because you've been in a very comfortable nest for a long, long time. But sometimes the actor brings it to our attention, like, we know, we all know it. It's just hard to let go on either side. But we'll do it, And I said there are actors I keep in touch with now. They're in their 40s. I mean, I haven't repped them in whatever 15 years. Every now and then I'll see them on, oh my God, you on Law and Order last night. Literally, I'll send them a quick email. I just saw you in Law and Order last night. You were awesome, man. You were the killer. Woo! Vice versa. They'll out of nowhere they'll reach out and go, hey, I want to let you know I'm married. I now have a 3-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And they'll send me a little video of their 3-year-old talking. So it's a matter of when we all look in the mirror and go, it's time. And it might be
Yeah.
from our side, it might be from the actor's side.
And then what do you do with somebody that sees my great beard today and they get inspired, and you have, like, say, a 17-year-old that says, oh, I want to do that too. Do you have to tell them
We'll tell them, we'll
you
say,
don't want
look, we're not telling you, it's like saying, I'm not going to say to someone, you have to have a nose job and you need to lose 2 pounds and you need to wear a wig and a toupee. I'm not doing all that. But we're going to say, look, if you want that kind of a look, that's taking you out of certain categories. And for both, guys and girls, if you're 18 and over and you can still pull off like 16, 17, truly, people really think you're a high school kid, but you're 18 and whatever age above, there's a huge market. And it's, literally it's called 18 TPY. Simple enough. 18 to play younger. Lots and lots and lots of shows, from Beverly Hills 90210 to Riverdale to Vampire Diaries, the OC, Dawson's Creek, all those type of high school shows for the last 40, 50 years. Every single person that's 18 and over playing younger. It's a big, big market. Even today, we still have shows where they want 18 to play younger. Now, if you're 18 and over and you don't look like you're 16, no one's buying anymore, that's fine. Don't panic. It's not the end of the world. But if you're now 18 and you look like you're college and beyond, the beard, the mustache, facial hair, even the little stubble, not as big of a problem. Like, you could be in college and have facial hair, but image-wise, psychologically, you wouldn't see them in high school. Even, yeah, of course, are there kids in high school that are facial hair? They do. In the world of TV and film, they probably won't, because immediately it makes you start going, how old are you? And especially if there's a girl that's looking 15, 16, and there's the guy with the facial hair, then the age thing looks a little weird. People go, something seems off.
right.
So we're not against facial hair, but we'll point out, here's the realities of what you can and cannot be going out for. Some people have facial hair and they say, I could shave it all off right now for an audition. Shave it, clean shaven, film the audition, give me 2 weeks, it's coming back. I mean, it could grow that fast. Okay, to whatever degree. If that's where we could do that, we'll have some headshots with facial hair. We'll have some headshots without facial hair. And depending on the role, we'll decide, all right, which picture fits best when we're submitting.
Right. Mine grows in 2 days. So
I
yeah,
mean, I shave in the morning by like 3 o'clock. I'm like, here it comes. The stubble's already coming in. It just goes,
right. Well, so you've been in the business for a long time, and obviously you've known, a lot of actors. You've seen a lot of actors, go through the process. Tell me one thing. I have questions that are going to be coming in. We'll be answering those here shortly. But what do you tell an actor who has maybe gone through a little bit of a period where they've had some success at the beginning, and then there's been maybe this gap where nothing's really hitting? They're auditioning, but yet they're not getting roles. What do you say to somebody like that, or how do you encourage them to keep going?
First, on an individual case, we would analyze, all right, let's look at you as an individual. How old were you when you were working? How old are you now? Are you Caucasian? Caucasian, guess what? For decades and decades and decades, television was a whole lot of white people, white families, white schools, white teachers, white. Those have changed. I mean, obviously, look at TV now, look at film now. In many cases, Caucasian is kind of a minority when they're casting. If they're matching up with like white mom, white dad, probably going to have white kids. Fair enough. If it's a flashback, here's the 40-year-old white actor. What does that actor look like when they're 12? Flashback. Well, okay, has to match up. All right, then it's going to be white. But if it's kids in the classroom, kids at school, just a kid, and the parents aren't part of the equation, many times we're going to go non-white. We'll open, submit who we think is right for the role. But surprise, the callbacks are all for non-white people. Or, oh, they booked a Japanese boy, they booked an African-American boy. That happens a lot. Certain ages are busier, with minors, under 18. When you're like, 16, 17, there's activity. When you're like this cute little 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old, there's activity. 10 to 13 is kind of, and there's, everything I say, there's a silver lining. There's, Murphy's rules. That nothing's black and white. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have 10-year-olds that work. I have 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds that work. There's no question about it. Is there as much opportunity for like 10 to 13? It's not as busy as like older teenagers, 16, 17, or the younger kid. Especially if there's a family, they want to see there's a big difference. We got the little kid, 6, 7, 8. We got the older teen. They're not going to try to keep them right next to each other, like a 12-year-old and then a 13-year-old or 14-year-old in the family. Sometimes they'll say, you know what? Who you've been studying with? All right, that acting coach is brilliant. And obviously you've been working with him for years and years and years. And you've had success. You booked jobs where you coached with that acting coach. But you've been with that same acting coach for 5, 6 years. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not positive, but maybe you're getting a little too comfortable. Maybe, they like you and they're not pushing you hard enough. It's like I joke around, I said, those people that go to the gym to work out, right? They're going to work out. They go to the gym and after an hour, they're not sweating at all, but they took a whole lot of selfies, right? Oh, so they went to the gym for an hour. They took a lot of social media posts. They didn't sweat an ounce. If you go to the gym for an hour, you should absolutely stink, right? You should be so stinky, you have to immediately go jump in the shower. You truly worked out. Right. Similar type thing with an acting coach or an acting class. There are great classes out there all across, not just LA. You could be in other parts of the world, other parts of the United States. It's solid, reputable classes. But you have to also give and get the same amount. If you go to an acting class and you walk out, you go, yeah, that was fun. And you sort of shrug, did you learn something new today? Not really. Did you feel you were pushed and stretched? And did they get you to a certain place you've never been before? No, not at all. Time to find a new class. Time to find a new coach to open new doors. And like I said, those classes are great. That individual coach might be fantastic. We'll say, you know what? I noticed all your bookings have been comedy. You're great with comedy. You've got sitcom. You've been with me 6, 7 years. You've never booked a single drama. And I'm not saying you can't, but you haven't. Let's shake things up. I want you to take this class that specializes with drama. I want you to work with this acting coach that knows how to get the drama out of you. You're great at the sitcom. We have to worry about that. You've got that in your wheelhouse. Let's try something different. Maybe take a class about soap operas. Some people are like, oh, I want to do a soap opera. I'm like, there's a massive list of famous movie actors, like A-list Oscar-winning type movie actors that started off on soap operas. Soap opera is brilliant because you don't have time to mess up. They're like, boom, 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 next scene, next scene. And everyone who I've had work on the soap opera is like, that was like the greatest like acting class I've had in a long time because it's fast. It's like almost like improv. There is a script, but you have to go. We don't have time for take number 3. Next scene, go, move. And I'm like, if you can handle that almost to the point of doing like a live stage performance, then boy, when you're on the next set where they get to do rehearsals and 4 or 5 takes of a scene, it's going to be like this is simple. I already handled soap operas, So there's a lot of different factors, but first things first is we'd have to talk to the individual and find out you specifically, where are you right now? Where were you a year ago, 3 years ago? What's missing from the equation? It's, we tell everyone this is a marathon. I mean, we joke around it's Murphy's Law, but beginning of COVID, when we all learned how to Zoom, right? We know what Zoom was. We all learned Zoom. I kid you not, it's a true story. Met a girl, manager reached out and said, I have a girl, lives in Tampa, Florida, 16 years old, really cute, really nice. She can act. She's fluent Spanish, blah, blah, blah. You want to meet her on Zoom? Yeah, okay. And we're in the pandemic, so we're all like, all we know is Zoom. We met her on Zoom. Immediately loved her. Just loved everything about her. Charming, polite, nice, approachable, very pretty, but doesn't act like she's stuck up. I'm a model pretty. Fluent Spanish. She can sing. She can dance. Like, wow. But we said, yeah, let's give it a shot. I mean, realize it's the pandemic. We don't know if this is like early on. The pandemic is like March 15th. This is like late April, early May. Okay. So it's still brand new. Like, forget vaccines. We weren't even thinking vaccines. We're like, are we going back to work next week? We had no clue the length of what was going to happen. I kid you not. 5 days later, audition number 1, she books a series regular role on an HBO series.
Wow.
There's a show called Gordita Chronicles, and they were putting together a Hispanic family, and they wound up filming the whole show in Puerto Rico, which for her was even more insane because they live in Tampa. Both parents are Puerto Rican. Both parents, so 4 grandparents, all live in Puerto Rico, and like once a year would come to Tampa for like a week and visit with the family. She gets to go to Puerto Rico for like 4 months to film a series. It was audition number 1. Now, I've had people book audition number 1. Literally, it might be a commercial. It might be a $200 music video. It might be a student film. There's no money, but it's a nice role to get footage. But literally the very first audition, they booked the job. And then I'm thinking, well, I mean, obviously your initial reaction is yay. And then I'm like, so is this a blessing or is this a curse? Because, I mean, right? Can't any of us walk into 7-Eleven right now, buy a lottery ticket, and ta-da, I won $1 million. Well, that was easy. I guess it'll happen again tomorrow. No, you were at the right place, the right time, the right role. Everything, the planets, the stars aligned, everything fit. Luckily, it didn't go to a head. The show went 1 season on HBO. Didn't get picked up for a 2nd season. Like everyone else, she's right back. She lives in Tampa, but she's right back auditioning, self-tape, Zoom callbacks. She's back in the routine. We've had people with us 1.5 years, almost 2 years. They haven't booked a thing. We're not upset. We don't keep score saying, well, it's been 6 months and you've had 32 auditions and only 3 callbacks and no bookings. Bye-bye. No, if we're going to invest the time in you, we're investing the time because we believe in you. It's the long haul. Agents don't make any money till you book a job. So everything we're doing is on faith that we believe in you. There may be a reason. Why haven't you booked anything? It's been 1 year, 1.5 years. Certainly, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about, all right, you think there's a problem? Let's figure it out. What is the problem? Why aren't you booking? Is it your headshots are ancient and you don't look like that and I've been hounding you for 6 months, new headshots? That could be a good reason. Maybe the headshots are great. They're new, they're fresh, they look like you. There's a lot of toys to play with your headshots. We got all these emotions. And we're submitting and we're getting you auditions. That's great. You're getting the auditions. You're not getting callbacks. What's up? There are actually acting classes that specify on why am I not getting a call back? Like, it's not
Oh,
for
really?
brand new actors. It's literally for actors that they have experience. They know what they're doing. They've already kind of learned basic stuff. They know different methods, and why are they not getting the call back? What is it they're doing? Is it something in the self taping that they're doing? Are they playing it too safe and not really getting crazy and expressing? I don't know, but there are classes that can work on that. So, we tell everyone it's a marathon. It's literally, if you think this is a sprint, you're in trouble. If you want to be an actor because, well, I want to be famous tomorrow and have 500 million followers on Instagram, you're in the wrong place. That's not, go be an Instagram TikToker, go make your YouTube channel, go play. That's not what acting's all about. We've had, like I said, we've had people with success where, like, all right, they're not signing autographs in the street, but they've had success. They booked TV roles, they booked some movies, they booked commercials. They're working, and then like a brick wall, it just stopped. They're like, and of course, like, why did it stop? Let's analyze. Let's figure this out. It could be, oh, you're 15 years old, you're 6'3", you're 210 pounds of muscle. You don't look 15. You look 19, 20. In
Right.
California labor laws, you're still a minor until you turn 18. There's rules that affect you. So, yeah, that's the brick wall. And I've had some kids that sprouted up. I'm like, oh, you're 15 and 6 foot something. Nobody thinks you're 15. Forget it. You don't look high school. We're going to have some issues. We're not getting rid of you, but we're giving you a heads up. Realize it's going to be an uphill battle till you turn 18 to graduate high school. There's so many different factors, but the key thing is, whoever your agent is or your manager, if they believe in you, they're sticking with you. And if they see a problem, they're not going to just ignore it or sweep it under the rug and go, it will go away on its own. No, it won't. But talk about it, communicate. Don't just go, there's a problem, bye-bye. That's insane. Maybe there are some places that just are cold about that and they just cut the strings and run, but we've never been that way.
Right. Obviously, you put the effort and time and work
Right.
into believing in this person. You want to keep them on your roster and working as much as possible, right?
I'll flip it. I'll give you the opposite where we have said bye-bye. If you decide, I think I'm going to ghost my agent. I'm emailing and emailing and emailing. I'm texting you. I'm calling your cell phone. I'm leaving messages. I can't find you, and you missed an audition, and you vanished, and you're not in the hospital hooked up to machines. You weren't in a car wreck lying in a ditch somewhere. You were out partying, or you forgot to book out, meaning book out is when you're not available. You forgot to book out, and why can't I find you? Oh, because you're in Mexico on vacation, and you never told us you were going on vacation. You never told us your cell phone would be off. You never said, keep my schedule clear. And we're looking, and then we have to call casting and go, I'm so sorry, but yeah, they're not going to make it. I don't want them to be a no-show. That looks even worse. But thank you for scheduling the audition. We appreciate it. But it's not going to happen. And now I'm going to crawl under a rock and hide. Yeah, the last thing agents want to do with casting is have to cancel auditions. And if we do have to cancel, there needs to be a really good reason. I mean, an example. I mean, literally today, we have a bunch of kids auditioning for a commercial, Famous Footwear. All right, submitted kids that seemed right, got the auditions, but the auditions came out yesterday, and there's like big bold notes telling us kids must wear a size 5 to size 7 sneaker, no exceptions. I'm like, if you're a 7.5, I'd probably say go do it. Let's see, we can cram that foot into a size 7. Fair enough. But I had someone email me last night. Oh my God, no! The teenagers wear the kid's foot grew. The kid's like a size 8.5. So I was like, I don't want to waste your time as an actor or the parents. I don't want casting to go, is Philip an idiot? Why is he sending me the wrong people? Much cooler for me to cancel and explain why. When we don't just cancel casting and go, you figure it out. We'll tell them, so sorry, woke up this morning with a fever. Of course, casting doesn't want to see you in person if you're sick.
Right.
Last night, literally emailed casting. Just found out, wearing a size 8.5, they're too big, so I don't want to waste your time. And casting, thank you, Philip, for not wasting my time.
Right.
There's all kinds of reasons there behind it. But like I said, the big thing is with actors, it's the long run. As long as you're communicating with your agents and managers, you're sharing info, you're communicating when something's on your mind, something's bothering you, something doesn't seem right. And you're not building it up so it blows up like a powder keg. You're sharing it. Yeah, I hate when an actor will reach out and go, back in November. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's May 2025. I don't want to hear back in November. What happened in December, January, February? Don't do that in November when something happens and you're like, something seemed off or something's bothering you. Something, nothing, but it's on your mind. You're just curious. Ask. We have no problem communication. Ask. It's
Right.
that simple. When you drop the ball, your agents and managers, your representation will drop you. You have to communicate.
And the reason behind that is because this business is about relationships. Obviously, you've been in the business for a while. You've built really good relationships with casting and all these different people involved, and you want to keep those relationships good. That you want them to continue to trust you. When you pick up the phone and call a casting director, and say, "Hey, you have to audition this guy. I have a kid on my roster who's perfect for this role. You have to see them." You want that person to trust you enough to say, "Okay, I'll
Yeah,
I'll schedule them in."
and vice versa. There are times, means earlier this week casting, they put out a breakdown. I looked at them like, I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone that's right for that thing. They sent me a separate email. I don't know if you saw the breakdown, but I love your kids, but this is what I'm looking for. And I emailed back. I said, I did see your breakdown. I would love to work in your project. It's a 100% legitimate, good, solid project. I do not have what you want. And
Right.
sometimes it's a very specific, I need a 16-year-old who's fluent Korean and can juggle. Oh, that's an odd combination. I could give you fluent Korean. I might maybe have someone that can juggle. I don't have a fluent Korean juggler, 16 years
Right.
old. So I mean, sometimes it's that specific. We go, we just don't have. But casting way more respects me when I say to them, I don't want you, literally, I don't want to waste your time. I don't
Right.
have what you're looking for. Keep me in mind for the next time. And then the next time something comes up, when maybe I have, they say, send me your 5 best. And there are times I'll email them and say, don't make me Sophie's Choice this. And for the younger kids, you could look up Sophie's Choice and figure out what that is. IMDb, it's a movie. I don't want a Sophie's Choice this, but I know you said your top 5. How about my top 6? And maybe I feel strongly that all 6 are great, but it's one of these roles like we want all ethnicity. So it could be East Indian, it could be Japanese, it could be Middle Eastern. We don't know what they're open. But I'm like, I got 6 that are really good, and don't make me choose 5 of the 6. Would you see all 6? They go, sure. 9 out of 10 don't say sure, because they know I'm not. I'm not saying here's my top 30. If I have a top
Right.
30, there's probably a problem. Like how many people do you have on your roster? But if there are times like I don't want to have to take one out. See all 6. Just trust me. They're all individually. They're all going to do a great job. Even if you decide you're going to go one direction over the other, all of them could do this. They'll do that. Because they know, like I said, I'm not going to waste their time and send the wrong people.
Now you mentioned earlier about, obviously working with coaches, right? Having taking classes. I meet a lot of people. I see a lot of auditions and I meet a lot of people, and a lot of people, of course, are new trying to break into the industry. And there's this stigma about it. They think, oh, I took a class a year ago. I was in a 1-month class. I did 4 weeks. I'm ready. I got some headshots.
I'm done.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. Trust me. I see it weekly. Um, but how important is it for you when your clients, when you bring on new clients, do you recommend that they continue to work with coaches
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
what
There might be some a theatrical project where we look at the material, we send it to you and go, it's 3 lines of dialogue. Yeah. Hi, Mom. What's for breakfast? Ugh, I hate pancakes. Oh, can you make me an omelet? That's your 3 lines. Guess what? Save you money. You don't have to get coached for that one role, that audition. You can handle that on your own. I know who you are. I know your parents are competent, capable, or you're 18, 19. You can handle this. Great. There are other times when we put out literally big, capital, bold letters. You must get coached. And the reason is it's a life-changing opportunity. It's literally a series regular role in a new TV series. It's a lead role in a feature film. It's big, high-stakes project. And guess what? You got the opportunity, which is brilliant, but you're going toe-to-toe with people that you know. You know that guy that's on that favorite show that you watched for the last 5 years? He's auditioning for that role too. Now it's
Right.
not to scare you, because guess what? If we didn't think you were right for this, or you couldn't handle it, we wouldn't submit you. And casting wouldn't trust us, and they wouldn't say, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what they can do with this role. If you weren't right for it, we'll sign some new talent. Say you're ready to do like a smaller co-star, but you're not at a level yet. You're not ready to be the star of the film. You're just not there yet. You need more training. We're still submitting, but we're going to do smaller roles. A smaller role in a film, a co-star role in one episode. Yeah, you can handle great, but you're not at that level. So when we put out the audition, we'll tell sometimes that you must get coached, big bold letters. Some will tell them, say, don't worry about it. You got this. You can do this on your own. You don't need to get coached for this. But of all ages, even that little 4-year-old, who I said who just booked that commercial last week, OnStar, I found her in an acting class. She wasn't just like walking down the street or sitting at the park. We go to acting schools. We see talent in class. And you're like, well, what's a 4-year-old learning? A lot. At 4 years old, I would have been running around circles and screaming and yelling and jumping and playing with Legos or whatever. I mean, I'm not an actor, but at 4, I didn't know focus on a camera. What? Walk into a room with adults I've never met before? No, thank you. I'll play with the other 4-year-old kids over there, but I'm not walking into a room with adults. Freak me out. That's a 4-year-old. You got 18-year-olds. Guess what? They're 18-year-olds from 49 other states in the United States that are now competing against you. They're all college age, whether they're in college or not, but they're in classes. They're studying, they're training. You have to be in class. The best analogy I give, it's another cliche, but it makes sense. Junior high kid plays baseball. He was playing baseball in junior high, but tries out for the junior high team, and you're okay, you're all right, you're good enough, fine. He plays baseball on junior high. Now he's graduated junior high, he's gone to high school. This kid's not automatically going to make the varsity team just because he played baseball in junior high. So what does he do? He goes to the gym, he works out, he trains. He might actually work with a trainer in baseball. Oh my God, he made the varsity team. Good for him, right? He's on the varsity baseball team. Does that mean he's getting a college scholarship to play baseball in college? No, there's no guarantee of that. A lot of people won't. But he's hungry for this, really hungry for this. So he's at the gym and the gym and the gym and the gym. He's working out. He's training. He's the one who shows up early for practice. He's the one that leaves at the very end, the last one to leave at practice. The coach sees this. The coach sees the potential. The coach believes in him. Coach does everything he can to get him in the right places with the right people. Work, 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 work. Oh my God, he did everything he needed to do. He got a college scholarship. He's now playing baseball at the University of blah, blah, blah. Does that mean he's going pro? No, not every college baseball player, football player, basketball player goes pro. But this kid's hungry. He's not just showing up, playing baseball, and then going out and partying. He's at the gym. He's at the gym, right? He's doing everything. Oh my God, he wound up making pro. He's a professional baseball player. Is he going to the World Series? No, there's no guarantee that, only 2 teams go to the World Series. 2 teams go to the Super Bowl, right? 2 teams make it to the NBA Final 2, right? Okay, he's hungry. He wants more. He's not satisfied. He does everything. He's at the gym. He's working with the coaches. He's doing everything in his power to get from I'm just playing professional sports to I want to get to the championship. There are actors that are Oscar winners. Literally, they've won Oscars. They've made millions upon millions upon millions. They've been doing this 30 years, 40 years. I mean, they're a household name. They're legends. And guess what? A new movie role comes up. They look at it and go, oh, man, this is a great role. I want to do this. But like, yeah, but you don't know how to do that. Guess what? They get a coach. They learn how to ride a horse for the Western movie.
Right.
They work with firearms because it's a cop thing, and they got to look like they know what they're doing with a firearm and not look silly. They work with professionals. They get coached. Meryl Streep's a genius with accents. I mean, she's probably, if I had to say who's like the number one actor you could think of all time when it comes to doing dialects, people forget Meryl Streep has a 50-year history of movies. She's done every accent you could think of. Russian, German, Polish, South African. And you hear and you go, what the? It's brilliant. It's like a chameleon. She's a one-of-a-kind kind of actress. She didn't just wake up, I got this down. Every one of those movie roles, she worked with a dialect coach and said, I need to nail this. which is why she's been nominated for like 5 million Oscars and has won every award imaginable. She's
Right.
she's a legend. But she's not like, oh, I know accents. I know everything. I took a class when I was in college. Hello. She still will work with someone if there's a new skill that needs to be learned for that role. So it doesn't stop. Don't think, well, I've learned everything. Impossible. There's no such thing as I've learned everything. Just like athletes, I said, they don't say, well, I worked out last week, so time to eat jelly donuts. No, no jelly donuts, working out. That doesn't mean you should be in acting class 7 days a week. I don't want you thinking I'm like, cracking a whip at you. But if I say, are you in class? Like, oh, I haven't been in acting class since, oh God, I guess it was last summer, probably August. I'm like, we're in May. What? You should be in at least once a week in an acting class. One decent thing that happened with COVID that affects many of you is that we all learn Zoom, including casting directors, including acting schools, including coaches. I'd say even now, 5 years on from COVID, when we have clients working on a self-tape for a TV show, a movie, theatrical, and they're working with a coach, I'd say at least 80, maybe 90% of the time, they're doing it through Zoom. So you could be in Alaska, you could be in Key West, Florida, you could be in Europe and Canada. You have internet, you have Wi-Fi, you can coach literally on Zoom. Work with the acting coach, go over the scene, figure out what you want to do with it before you even start self-taping. You need to be as competitive as you can be.
I love the analogy of the sports because everybody knows that sports athletes train, right? I mean, everybody knows that. It's just a common thing. They know that, to get to the top, LeBron James has trained his whole life, to be an NBA star.
And
But
as much as he has skills, he didn't just say, well, he's not cocky saying, well, I know everything. He knows I have to work my butt off to get to the top. Because guess what? The guy next to me is also very talented. And so is that one and that one and that. So even with actors, there are other actors that are just as talented. And not saying you're not, but when you get to bigger roles, it's more competitive, it's higher stakes. You have to put in the work.
Now, what would you tell somebody who maybe doesn't have the budget for acting, like a lot of extra cash to be able to do that? What recommendations do you give them that they can still grow as an actor?
One little, and there's another one you're gonna go, this seems stupid, and when I say it out loud every time, I'm like, it sounds stupid, but just trust me in this. I just time out and trust me. We have 5 senses. But TV and film, you're looking, your eyes, you're listening, your ears, right? You're not sniffing the TV. You're not touching the TV. You're not licking the TV and tasting it, right? It's sight and sound. That's what it is. As an audience, we're looking at you. We're watching your face. We're listening to your voice. Pick a sitcom. I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter. Pick a sitcom, something you maybe have seen before, so you're somewhat familiar with the show already. It could be an old show like Friends. It could be a Disney show, a Nickelodeon show. I don't care what it is, but something you've seen some episodes, so you have a rough idea what the show's about. So it's not completely foreign. I'm going to watch a full half-hour episode of a sitcom on mute. Silent movie. Silent movie, study body language, study their faces. Try to figure out what is going on here. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they angry? What are they doing with their face? Is it way over the top? Maybe it is for a comedic beat, maybe they made a funny face. Maybe it's very subtle. They just raised an eyebrow, right? Well, the eyebrow went up. What are they doing? Half hour on mute. Do that a couple of different times. It's going to be a different sitcom, different day. It doesn't have to be all at once, over time. Now do the same exercise. This time, watch that sitcom. Put on like a sleep mask, right? Don't look at the walls. Don't look at the ceiling. Literally block out so that a sleep mask or a blindfold or something, there's nothing. It's not like a podcast. It's audio. Listen. Are they talking really fast and you understand what they're saying because they talk so fast? No. Even when they're talking fast, you will hear every syllable, every word. I'm overemphasizing, but left has a T at the end. End has a D at the end. You don't say, give me directions. Go to blahs, make a right, and then 2 more blahs, make a left. What? No, you go right, go 2 blocks. There's that X sound, blocks, make a left. Listen, right? Get rid of the visual, just audio. Listen to the voices. Listen to their speech patterns. They don't notice. No one's going to go and then spit out 3 minutes of dialogue. There are times to pause. There are times to breathe. There are times you pause for effect, dramatic effect, emotional effect. There are times you pause so you can't get out 5 sentences without breath. Right? No. Why are they doing that? Why does this character sound like that? Are they doing an accent? Are they not doing an accent? Oh, it's a Boston set show, so they're all saying Boston packed the cab. Yeah, they got that. Yeah, yeah. A lot of shows, just listen and go, I don't know where they're from. Most of the time watching actors, unless it's specific to the show, oh, this is supposed to be in Texas. This is supposed to be in Louisiana. This is supposed to be in New York City, dialects. But a lot of shows, like, I have no idea. They could be from New Hampshire. I don't know what a New Hampshire accent sounds like. Neither do you, right? And so they're very neutral. Listen carefully to the syllables. Every word, you're going to hear every syllable, every word. Don't chop off the consonant at the end. Do this a few times, all right? So watch without listening, listen without watching. Now, have a friend, family member, mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever, record you just do it on your cell phone, your bedroom. I don't care where you're at. It could be in your bedroom with a cell phone. Pick a monologue, whatever you want to do, something you've been working on in class. Have them record you. Now you by yourself, take the cell phone in your bedroom, away from everyone, do the same exercise on your own performance. Watch it now, mute it. I mean, look at me right now. Can you see I'm happy? No, I'm not, because you can't tell, right? I'm purposely giving these faces sometimes so you can see, oh, he's happy. He's sad. He's confused. He's going, right? Look at your own performance. You could have acting coaches, mom, dad, best friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, anyone else look at you and tell you, oh, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that and you should do, and everyone has their own 2 cents and opinion. Whatever. Some are valuable, some are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You discover yourself. Oh, those people that say all the time? Everyone knows someone from high school. They're ummers. They didn't realize it. You might be one of those. You're looking at your own performance and listening and oh my God, I said 15 times in 2 minutes. I didn't know I was an ummer. Some people hunched over. They don't know it until they see themselves. I'm like, oh my God, what do you stand up straight, project your voice. If you're listening, you're like, hi, my name's Philip Marcus. I live in Studio City and I'm going to do the role. What? If you're doing that, what do you think casting's doing? They're literally going next. They're literally shutting you off onto the next one. From the very first words out of your mouth, slate. I want to hear energy. You don't have to jump up and down. You don't have to be doing cartwheels and wearing neon glowing lights, right? But you can't just go, hi, my name's Philip Marcus. I live in Studio City. I'm over the age of 18 and I'm reading for the role of the lawyer. Fine. Energy, volume, project. Like I said, look at your body language. Study yourself and notice there are things you're going to notice. You go, that's really cool. I raised that one eyebrow and that fit. That's something you added to it. It didn't say in the script, raise eyebrow, but you did that and it made sense. You might discover things. I didn't realize I did that. I didn't realize when I'm on camera that I'm shaking side to side like I am right now. And there are people that do that.
Right.
I've seen showcases where they're on the stage. They're like, hi, my name, and they have no idea that I'm getting seasick because they're doing this for like 3 minutes. I'm like, wow, they don't know. You don't know. So these are things that will cost you nothing. But do that exercise with like a sitcom. And I say sitcom over drama because sitcom, usually you get a lot more faster and quicker type of emotions. Angry, sad, lonely, happy, cocky, mean girl, all these things happening. And you can hear it in the voices. You can see in the faces a lot quicker than a drama you might have a whole scene of a drama like on mute. I can't tell what's going on here. I mean, they're just talking, giving information, but sitcom, there's usually quicker beats, Right. So that's why I said study that, but separate the visual and the audio, then put it together, record yourself, and then break it down on your own performance. Study what you're doing right and wrong.
I love that advice because anybody listening and watching can actually do that today, right? Most people, as long as they have internet connection. But I love also, going to it, it might be good just to turn on something you've never watched before too, because you're probably going to retain, or your
True.
senses are going to be not as aware, because
You
if you
know the
watch something
characters.
20 times, like your favorite Friends episode, you already know what's going to happen. You're
Yeah,
already
that
anticipating
works
what.
as well. Absolutely. And then you, as an audience member watching them, try to figure out, oh, he's sad, she's mean, he's an idiot, whatever it is that they're doing. See if you can figure out, but studying their faces, listening to their voices, try to figure out what's going on, get the gist of the
Right.
story.
And it's such good advice, because just doing something as simple as that practice gets the actor to know themselves, what
Hmm.
they do, study themselves, but listen also to what other actors are doing.
Right.
And that probably just puts them just so much further ahead of everybody else who hasn't done that.
Hmm.
Yeah, like knowing who you are is very important as an actor, right? Knowing who you are. Now,
And we all have things, that I mean, I grew up in New York, if you can't tell from my accent, even though I've been out here a long, long time. And there, as New Yorkers, just in general, we all talk fast. We just do. It's a New York thing. There are times where all these years later, I've been out of New York a long time. I went to college in Florida. So I've really been out of New York since 1987. It's a long time, right? There are times, even in my own life, where I'm talking to people and mentally I'm like, oh my God, Philip, you're talking way too fast. Slow down. And literally I have to to myself, like, and it's not that they give me funny looks. They're not like, what, but I'm noticing, oh my God, I'm talking really fast. Slow it down. It's okay. No
right,
one's timing you. It's not a race. It's a New York thing. There's everyone has different things. Like I said, the person who says doesn't want to say but they're not even aware of it until they discover it themselves.
right,
Until you see yourself, you're looking on the phone on camera going, oh my God, that's me. I didn't know I said over and over. All right, you got to be aware of that, or the person who's doing the rocking, like I said, the swaying,
mm,
they have no clue they're swaying. And you can tell them after and say, you were swaying up there. I was? I didn't know. Record it and watch yourself go, oh my God, that's me doing the swaying. And like I said, it's not always a negative thing. You might discover things like, oh, that was good. I like that. Oh, that was a cool little moment I did. I see what I said something, but I gave it an extra little second pause because I know it's a funny joke. And I know if I make the face, the audience will laugh. So give me that second pause, get a reaction, and then go on with the scene. And that all made sense. That's something you come up with on your own.
right. And not enough people. I don't think. I mean, honestly, with all the actors on your roster, I don't think that enough of them are introspective enough to really want to sit down and do this. Such a simple process that you just explained,
Hey.
and it's free, and yet so many people are even afraid to even attempt that simple task, right? And
Yeah. And look, I mean, that, number one, be true to yourself. I mean, how are you going to try to perform for an audience, whoever the audience is, whether it's family and friends in the school play, or you're in front of a casting director on Zoom, and maybe a director, producer, and there's 3 or 4 people on Zoom, and maybe, not always, but maybe they're not giving you this. So they're like, "Mhm. All right, thank you. It's nice meeting you. Bye." Like, did you like? Maybe they're not giving you anything, even though if you were brilliant. But you got to start off by being able to look in the mirror and see yourself. All right. It's like when actors will say to actors, "What type of roles do you think? You're 22 years old. What kind of role? What type of roles? What do you see yourself playing?" Well, I want to play the high school quarterback. Okay, but you're 5'3" and 98 pounds soaking wet. I'm not trying to judge here, but I'm going to judge. You're 5'3" and 98 pounds soaking wet. Do you think you're going to be booking the athlete role and like the quarterback in the football team? Maybe. How do you see yourself? Well, everyone says I'm the cheerleader type, and because I have a cute laugh and I'm bubbly and I'm the homecoming princess, and we're all like, you're right. You can absolutely play all that. That's great. I mean, you have that look. But even further, are you doing horror films? In a horror film, are you the psycho killer killing everyone? Are you the victim covered in blood? Are you in a soap opera where you're just two-timing your boyfriend and sleeping around town and you're kind of easy? Is it a medical drama where you're the the patient brought in Grey's Anatomy that's going to have a heart transplant, but you're scared? Can you play it? What are you the runaway kid that's literally living in the backseat of an abandoned car that's doing tricks on the back alleys for an episode of Chicago PD? There's a lot of roles, there's a lot of things, but you have to be able to look in the mirror and go, who am I? What kind of parts can I play? When people say, what's your age range? Oh, people say I can play like 14 to like 40. No. Either you're lying or they're lying to you. You can't play 14 and 40. What age range, when people look at you, what are they thinking? Now, if you said to me, I'm over 18, but people think I'm still in high school, so I'm guessing 16, 17. I say that's believable. What age range? I'm actually 20 years old, but more college, like 19, 20 to like maybe 25. That's about it. No one thinks I'm older than that. Okay, that's believable. So it's the same type of thing of looking in the mirror when you're critiquing yourself. You have to be able to open up to yourself before you can even try this for anyone else.
Be honest about it. It's funny. It actually reminds me of a podcast I was listening to with Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you've caught it or not, but he was telling about his journey from he was doing all these romantic comedies. Yeah, have you heard that story where he was?
I haven't seen the podcast, but I've heard him tell these stories. Yeah, he was doing all the rom-coms. Yeah,
and he told his agent, "I don't want to do any more rom-coms. I'm done doing that." And how he said, don't contact me unless it's a drama or something else. And basically like a whole year went by, his agent kept reaching out, hey, I have a romantic comedy for you. But he wanted to switch roles so badly that he said that in this particular podcast, he said he almost thought about maybe that was the end of his acting career. He was starting to contemplate other jobs
because they're not seeing me outside of the rom-com box.
Right, because he went so long without a role, and I think it was like 2 years that he basically had nothing, and then finally got out of that box. But I don't recommend that for everyone to say I no longer want to do this if you're successful. But good for him.
Especially those that are starting out. I mean, let's fit a specific thing, because we at the 18 and over, we'll say, look, we're not here to judge. We're here to support. We're here to grow together. But if there are things you don't want to do, tell us right now. We'll make a note in the computer. I won't submit you. Everything from I won't be topless. Fine, you won't be topless. No problem. I'll be topless, but I'm not doing full nudity. Fine. I won't do full nudity, but I'll do simulated sex if it's like a TV show. But I don't want to go like, Basic Instinct where it's going to show you everything. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. Even if it's a fake cigarette, I don't want anything to do with me smoking a cigarette. Fine. I'm a vegetarian. I won't eat meat. I'll do a McDonald's commercial, but I'm not eating the hamburger. All these things are fine. There's some people like, I'm up for anything and everything. I'll kiss a man. I'll kiss a woman. I'll kiss a baby. I'll kiss a dog. I don't care. I'm 100% open. Throw it at me. Okay, so be it. Other people are like, I'm very, very religious. I grew up in like a really religious family. I'll do horror movies, but it can't be anything that's like anti-Catholic, anti-God, anti-church, none of those like religious exorcists, none. But I'll do, serial killer chasing me in the woods. Yeah, that's fine. Everything, all these things are fine. There's no one's going to make faces and go, oh, you're a pain in the butt. If they act that way, you're not in the right relationship. We're here to support. So I said, we'll add notes, and it's all up to you what your comfort levels are. Some people, like I said, will do almost anything, and others like, no, thank you. It's a mix, but we're fine with that. But you have to be, comfortable in your own skin. Don't say, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then you get the audition. Now you're squirming, and it's like, and I'm watching the audition. I'm like, something's up. It's not that you did a bad audition. Something's up. I think you're sabotaging yourself. No, I'm not. If they offered you the role today, said the job is yours, and you're on set tomorrow doing that role, are you ready to accept it? Well, I'm like, time out. What's going on? Well, I didn't say it before, but I'm not really comfortable with it. Why'd you audition? Tell us, right? And there are times we'll send out materials, whether it's kids with parents or it's 18 over adults, we'll send out material from time to time. They'll email back going, ooh, I'm not comfortable saying that, doing that. I don't want to portray that. Okay, done. Literally, that's it. There's no arm twisting. I'm not going to try to convince you to do something you don't want to do. You're not going to do a good job.
Right.
So why give 70% or 60% to casting? I'd rather say, nope, not comfortable with the material. Thank you. Next, let's move on. Don't waste anyone's time.
Right. Yeah, know who you are and what you're comfortable with. I love that.
Yeah, and everyone's different. There's, like I said, there's no right or wrong. There's no, oh, I can't believe you won't do that. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. If you try to convince somebody to do something they don't want to do, they're not going to give, like you said, 100% anyway. So what's the point? Why do that?
And it's not even taboo subject. I mean, a few years back we had some movie role, something to do with the filming it in Australia in the Great Barrier Reef. A lot of the movie was going to be in the water, swimming around, whatever. And so I'm checking who my good swimmers, and I had someone who's like literally like on the varsity swim team, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, phenomenal swimmer, right for the role and everything. Smith got the audition, immediately like, no. I'm like, I'm like, why? I'm not swimming in the ocean with sharks. Put me in a pool. I'm like, oh. Didn't even think about it. I'm like, all right, put a note in, in the computer, not comfortable swimming in the ocean. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's R-rated or it's nudity or sex or drugs. It could be something as simple as you're a great swimmer in the pool. You're not swimming in the ocean. You have to, once again, it goes back to what we said earlier, communicate. Tell us what's on your mind.
Well, it looks like we're running out of time here, Philip. I appreciate you being with us. What can somebody do real quickly before we sign off? What can somebody do if they're interested or they're wanting to get in front of you? Like they say, oh, I would love to work with Philip. He would be a perfect agent for me. What's a good approach? Like, how should they do that?
Put together no more than, but maybe like a 1-minute comedic monologue and a 1-minute dramatic monologue, 2 separate videos of you doing whatever you want to do. For those that are creative and adventurous, feel free, write your own monologue. I have no problem. I'm not saying, oh, I've never heard of this monologue. That's a negative. Or, oh, you're doing a scene from that movie. That's a negative. If you want to create your own, great. If not, literally, it's as simple as Googling, dramatic monologue for teenagers, dramatic monologue for college students. There are websites where you can find lists. You can even find a monologue and go, okay, well, change that word, move that sentence, take that out, add this, tweak it to make it your own. Play up to your strengths. If you know your strength is, as an actor, I can get that one tear trickling down my cheek. Oh, it's like Denzel Washington in Glory. Oh, it's so good. And I could do that like that. Well, certainly that's brilliant. Most people can't, put together a monologue. If you're fluent in a foreign language, figure out a way in the monologue where you're doing it in English and suddenly something comes up where you get to jump in and now do it in Spanish. You're doing your monologue and in the story, the phone rings. Oh, you pick up the phone and blah, 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 and you're speaking a foreign language. Speaks a foreign language. Play to your strengths. If your comedy is better with like rom-com, it's realistic, it's grounded, but it's like a romantic comedy vibe, great. If you're like pie in the face, fall in the mud puddle, physical comedy, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, wackiness, voices, play to your strengths. Don't try to do something you're not comfortable doing right now. It's like that first impression. On your resume, under skills, list everything. Wherever you are in the world, if you have a passport and people are like, yeah, so what? That's a huge thing. We're filming, when I say we, industry-wise, they're filming everywhere. In the last couple of years, I've had people filming in Seoul, South Korea, Mexico City, Toronto, Paris, France. I mean, they're filming all over the world. So on your special skills list, you have a passport, put it on there. If you're fluent in a language, write fluent Spanish. If you're not fluent, but you know some, it's right to say beginning Spanish, intermediate Spanish. If you write fluent, people are going to call you out on it, expect you to jump in and speak it. And if you are, brag. If you're not. If you have a driver's license, put driver's license on there. You don't have to be like an Olympic athlete, But they're like, no, I know how to play football, soccer, basketball. I can hold my own. For an actor, I know what I'm doing. I know how to play the sport. I can stand there, hold the bat, and look like I know what I'm doing. I could dribble the ball, shoot a foul shot. I look like I belong there. If you're like, well, I played basketball in kindergarten, I don't want to hear about it. No, done. So list all those skills. List any live performances you've done, anything. It could be school plays. It could be community theater. It could be the spelling bee in the state of Arkansas. It could be the Christmas pageant at your local church. Whatever it is you've done, if you've done live performances, list anything on there. Some people have done like YouTube videos, like little scripted scenes. Maybe it's a minute, 2 minutes, little YouTube videos. List it, YouTube videos. If you have social media presence, if you don't panic. It's not the end of the world at all. But if you do, don't say, I'm on TikTok. I got 75 followers. I'm like, keep that to yourself. That's like bragging you got a C+ in history. No one cares about a C+. If you're like TikTok, I have 100,000 followers. People are going to, oh, well, you must be doing something. How'd you get those numbers? So yes, Instagram, TikTok. If you have decent numbers to brag. If not, don't even list it. And as it was been saying in the last hour or so, list all the training, everything, not just acting. You took karate classes at ABC Karate School, karate classes, musical instrument, drum lessons, piano lessons, dance. I studied jazz, hip hop, tap, whatever. List all your training. Not just in acting as just the word acting at ABC Acting School. Specify acting. I did scene study. I did monologues. I took improv classes. Improv's awesome. If you haven't, I highly suggest, if you're able to, in your hometown, get into a local improv, especially with the summer coming up. Improv classes are awesome. Guess what? What have I been doing for the last hour? I swear to you, no script, nothing memorized. This is improv. You will use improv the rest of your life, way beyond acting. Use improv in college, on a job interview, when you're going out on a date. Years from now, if you have children, you'll improv every single day for the rest of your life with children. So improv skills are awesome. But literally load up the resume of everything you want us to know about you. If you're still like under 18, you're in high school and you're a 4.0 GPA and honor roll, brag. If you're a 2.5, don't mention that. Like I said, A+, brag. C+, we don't talk about that. You just got by, But put it on there. If you think, oh, nobody cares that I can burp the alphabet, I do. Or my eyebrows can do the worm. You're like, no one cares. Put it on there. Double jointed, put it on there. Every little thing that you're comfortable doing that you can showcase, somewhere down the road will come up.
So, oh, did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay. So put together the scenes, put together a resume.
Comedic and dramatic monologue. And then on the resume, like I said, put everything you could think that you've done that you want me to know about.
Okay. And then send you an email. Is that the best?
Just email philip@cleartalentgroup.com.
Perfect. And then mention that they loved seeing you.
Yeah, and the subject line, just to make it so I don't go, because if you put in the subject line Bob Smith, I'm like, who's Bob Smith? If you put in Bob Smith hyphen and then list the Zoom this morning, oh, okay. Because I see a name, I'm like, oh, so where did I see you? But I hadn't seen anyone today. So we're going to see for the first time. So if you email, then we can take a look.
Perfect. I love it. But I heard you're going on vacation.
I am going to Nassau, Bahamas next Wednesday night.
Nice.
Mentally, I'm already there. I'm on the beach. I'm swimming.
How long are you going to be down there for?
I'm going to be down for a week.
Okay. I love the Bahamas. I've been there several times.
Yeah, I've been to Nassau before, but I'm going to a Club Med. I haven't been to the Club Med in Nassau before, so it's cool. Just check in and unwind, and everything's there.
Nice, and everything's served to you, and beautiful beach, beautiful weather.
Yeah, and we're past April showers, so weather should be pretty decent.
Yeah, it should be really good. Well, enjoy the beach. I'm jealous.
Well, your view is not too shabby. I mean, I did see a few birds fly, like literally right over your head. I'm like, oh, look at that. I see the bird out there.
There is wildlife. Well, it was great seeing you again. I appreciate your time. Thank you for
Oh,
spending
absolutely.
a little chunk of time on your Saturday. I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on, but we always appreciate having you on and talking with you and picking your brain and solving the world's problems.
One day at a time.
Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, Philip, and I will hopefully see you in the near future.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys.